In Snowflake, we work with flat files, we work with CSV files, we work with structured files. However, Snowflake allows us working with the semi-structured data sets also, namely JSON, like your Parquet, like your Avro, like your Orc, like your XML. So all these five are semi-structured data sets. Semi-structured data sets means that if we look at the data in these five kind of files, we can see that there is some relation between the data, but it is not as clear as it is into your normal structured data, which is purely in the form of rows and columns. Okay. So here is an example of a JSON file. Okay. We can see that there is some entity relation data over here. So we have a column called ID. We have a value for it. We have a column called last name and we have a value for it. However, it is not in the structured way of rows and columns. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to ingest these files. We want to consume these files and we want to make them supported in Snowflake also. So whenever we get semi-structured files, so there is a way that we have to deal with it. The way is that inside your Snowflake, you will have a stage and you will have a target table where you actually want to load the data. And let's say we have a file over here, which is of JSON file. Now what we need to do is we need to load this JSON file into our stage. After that, we have to load this file into a table, which will be of variant type. That table will be of variant type. The data type, the column data type of that will be variant. From this variant, we will parse the data. And after parsing the data, the real data or the final data will be eventually loaded into our final table in the Snowflake. So this is the approach we are going to follow. So let's try to do the same. So I've opened SnowSQL over here. Let us connect to it. I'm going to put my password over here. Let's go to our database, go to our schema, and let's create a stage over here. Okay. So create stage JSON underscore stage. Let us see what is there inside our stage. So as I said over here, we need to bring this JSON file inside our stage. So the location of this file is over here. So we'll use put command over here and our stage name, that is JSON stage. So our file is successfully uploaded in our JSON stage. We can go back to our UI. So we have our file called HR data available in the JSON stage. So step one is cleared. Now we have to create a table which will have a column and the data type of that column will be variant. So let's create a table. JSON underscore raw. We call the column as uh, call underscore JSON and the data type of that column will be variant. So the table is successfully created. Now we need to load this file's data, which is present inside our stage, to the variant table. For that, we will have to use copy command, but we should also have a file format for it. So let's create a file format. So a file format is created. We can validate this database objects inside the left-hand side. So we can see that we have a JSON raw table. We have a stage called JSON stage, and we have a file format called JSON FF. Now to load the data from this JSON file into the JSON raw table, we will use copy command. So we will use copy into JSON raw from JSON stage. File format is equal to JSON FF and files are equal to, we will see what is the name of the files. is equal to hr.json. So we can see how many rows are loaded over here. 200 rows are loaded. If I go into the notepad plus plus and I come at the bottom, we can see that we had 200 lines and 200 lines are successfully loaded into the table. Now, how does this data looks like? So let me do select star from JSON raw. Now, this is the problem of the semi-structured data set. So we can see that we have some data, but this is not in a proper format of rows and columns. Do I make sense? Always understand the file first. So we will try to understand the file. So this is the first record and the other one is the second record separated by a comma. The record in JSON starts with a curly braces and it ends with a curly braces. So here is the starting point and here is the ending point. Now in this we can see that we have many simple entity relations. ID value is 1, first name value is Portia, last name value is Gioni, gender value is male, city is Bakersfield, and so on and so forth. So these are the simple columns. So let's try to deal with these columns first. So what will we say? We will just write a simple select statement. Select JSON raw. What do we want to select? We want to give the column name. What is our column name? Call underscore JSON because everything is present inside this column. So what I will say, col underscore JSON. This is my column name. Now in this column, what do I want to see? Call JSON is the pocket which is having all the data. And what is the coin? The column name. So how will we say it? Colon. So if I want to invoke any column, I will use colon. So I will say I want to see the ID column. So let us see, does this gives us data in ID column? So we can see that when I am selecting column name colon ID from JSON raw, I have got all the values of the column ID. Okay. Now I want to see other columns also. If I go file, I can see I have first name also. So I will take use of this. I have last name. I have gender and I have city and I have, we'll go with these columns as of now. So we can see that we have got the data into a better format as compared to what we had over here. So here the data was very scrambled, but here we can see that we are slowly progressing towards something achievable, something more readable. Now, I feel that there is still some issue with this data. What is that issue? Is that this is the name, this is the value, but why is it coming under quotes? Because the column or the snowflake does not know what data type is it is dealing with. So we will say that please consider this as int. Please consider this string, as string, as string, as string. Now this will remove all the double quotes that we have in the values. This looks better. The next thing that doesn't look so good is the column names. We can see the column names are coming as per the values or the names that we are giving. So I would like to alias these column names as ID, as first
First,
name, as last name, as gender, as city. So this looks a much better data set as compared to what we started with. Now let's come to a bit more complex columns. So here we can see this job column has much more data inside it. It has column inside column. If we look at spoken language, same goes with it. It has records inside records. Okay. So let us try to understand one more record. Let's go to this record. Let's try to break it up. Now, if we look at the previous company has this list which has multiple values. For example, this person with the ID2, which has the name DAG, has previous company as McGaver, Kessler, Corwin, and Gerlach, Russell, and Moen. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include this also in my data set. So now my data looks like this. Now again, I have a problem. This is not an easily readable data. So this is actually an example of nested data. So this is an example of nested data. So you can see that this square brackets, if I copy it and if I paste it over here, you can see it has two entries. One is this entry and the other one is this entry. Two entries. However, the index position of the first entry is 0 and the index position of the second entry is 1. Okay. So this is how your arrays work. If they have 10 items, the first item's index position will start from 0. Okay. So that is what I am going to utilize over here. I am going to say, I'm going to keep this previous company and I'm going to say that from this previous company, give me the 0th index position value. Give me the 0th index position value. So if I run like this, you can see that over here, I am getting the first entry, that is McGaver, Kessler and Corwin. I am getting Shader LLC. So if I look over here, the other person's previous company was Shader LLC. So what I am doing over here, I am getting the 0th entry. Okay, 0th index position entry. If I want the second entry also, so what will I do? I will do it like this. Now I will get both the previous company. So you can see I have got McCaver also and I have got Russell and Moin also. So this is how you handle your nested data. This is your nested data. So if I want to calculate what is the maximum size of the array that I have, I can utilize a function called array size. How can I do that? I will use select array size from JSON underscore raw. And my column name is, I have to give the column name, that is JSON, sorry, call underscore JSON colon previous company. So if I do this, I will get what is the maximum size for each record. Now this is coming as scattered data, so I can always do order by DESC. So now we can see that the maximum size that you are going to get is of 3.
Yeah.
However, it is a very challenging task. Let me show it to you. Now over here, we can see that here I am getting previous company into this column, another previous company into this column. This is not the structure of the file. There is only one column called previous company, which is expected to have all the values. So in that case, how can I combine all the data set values? So I will have to apply a bit of a smart trick. So I will have to use union all between them. Union all, here it will be 1, union all, here it will be 2, union all, here it will be 3, and the maximum size is 3,
Three.
right? So the
Yeah.
index position will go till 4,
Uh,
union all. Now I have to name the company also, the column also. So I will just name my column name as previous company. As previous company, plus I want to convert it into a string also. This. Let's run this query. And by this, the records will all fall in a single column. So over here, we can see it is ordered by this. So let me do one thing. Let me put this entire data set into a single.
Excellent.
So here we can see tag has few values. Let's see the data set. Tag has two previous companies, that is McGavor, Kessler, Corbin, Gerlach, Russell. Okay. Why we are getting one null? Because we are asking for three values, right? Whereas tag has worked only in two previous companies. So for index 3, we are getting 0 for tag. Okay. But there will be many people who will be having three companies. For example, you can take example of Bill. So he's the one who has worked in three companies, Turner and Sons, Deco and Katzer and Cozy. Okay. So this is how you can, this is a easy trick that you can utilize to work with the nested data. Now, if I go back to the columns of the JSON file, we can see that there are two more columns which are a bit more complex. The next column that is a bit more complex is job column. So we can see job is having the data under the curly braces and means that we are having column inside a column. We are having column inside a. So now how will we invoke this or how will we work with this? That is a challenge for us. Deal how to work with it. Let me go back. Let me just copy the single format of data. So this is the copied data. I'm going to go and work with it. And I'm going to do a comma and I'm going to do call underscore JSON colon. What is the column name we have now? Job. So let's see how the data actually looks like. So now we can see that we are getting data in this way. So
Yeah.
column job has further two columns, that is salary and title. Now job has further two columns which are having or which are called salary and title. If I give this, it means we will be dealing with something else, right?
Yeah.
Meaning we will be
Array.
dealing with the square brackets? No.
It's list.
What we
No.
are going to say? Try to understand this
Colon
line. What
salary.
are we saying? That in the column called JSON, there is a column called ID. Give me that value. But
Uh,
here what we are going to say, in the column called JSON, which has a column called job, which has a column called salary, give me its value. So how
oh,
will we do it? We will give it with a
another.
colon. So I will say salary. So
Oh,
let us see if we get the data.
definitely.
Bingo, we have got the data. I'll just do a comma. I'll just paste this.
Mm.
What is the other column we have? We have
ID.
salary and title. So I'll just take title.
First.
I'll just remove the comma and I'll just ask for it. So here we can see that we have got the two columns, that is title and salary.
Salary.
Let's format them in a proper shape. Let's convert this into int, call this as salary, and let's convert this into string. and call it as title.
Right.
And let's see how the formatted data looks like. So this is how the data looks like. Now comes the utmost complex column, that is spoken languages. We try to understand spoken languages. It has two records because it is starting with the square brackets. It is called handling nested arrays. Okay. Now this every record has further two columns, that is language and level. So we have to fetch it accordingly. So let's first see how the data in this column looks like. So let's just copy this. So we can see this is how the data in this looks like. Okay. So now what will we say? We will say in the column JSON, which has a column spoken languages, first give me the first record, that is index 0. If I do that, it will give me the language level combination. Okay. Now from this language level combination, I will say, please give me the column called language. But here I will not invoke with the colon. I will invoke with the dot language. So this is the utmost complex one. So it is expected to take time. So we can see that we have got language. So let's format it and let's call it as language. So this looks better. So we have got language. Similarly, I'll copy this and I'll do this for the next column in the place, that is level. So I'll just paste it and I will say level, level. So now we can see that we have actually converted this complex JSON file into a structured data set where all the columns are having their values. However, this problem is not yet solved. For this particular record, we have two spoken languages, that is Kazakh and Lao. But here we are getting only Kazakh for Portia. How can we get Lao also for Portia? As we tried in the previous one, what will we have to do? Union all, paste, and here we will ask for 1. So here we can see now we have got Lao and Kazakh, both the languages for them. Now this is a complex case because here again you will have to find the array size, and doing the union all is not a suggested way to do it. What is an alternative way to do it? So basically if you try to understand, we are just trying to find the combinations, right? So in real life, in your data engineering, you will not be using the union all and union stuff. You will be using a better option to deal with it. Let me show you. So the better option to deal with is use of the function called flatten. We will cover that flatten function in a separate video. Thank you guys.